data claims will continue to grow in 2022, but the form and nature of those claims is going to continue to evolve. Data claims by their nature are low-value claims. There's actually very little jurisprudence on that point, and it may change in a world where data is currency. So if you are a claimant or a litigation funder seeking to identify viable claims, I think in 2022, your focus is going to be on the claims that, at least on their face, are more material, i.e. they evidence more material harm to a data subject and are potentially worth more on an individual basis. So what we saw in 2021 was a number of test cases around the procedural mechanisms, and those were not largely successful. So Lloyd and Google is the best example of this, where you can see the court grappling with the policy matters about whether those claims should be allowed to be brought, where really the harm, the loss of control of data, may not be that material. Now, in Europe, there are still a few test cases working their way through the system. In Germany, there's been a referral to the European Court of Justice, and what that court has got to think about in 2022 is whether effectively you can get compensation for a data claim where effectively the loss and damage you have suffered may not be material. Claims will vary by sector, but 3 trends that will affect all businesses include, first of all, claims relating to the use of biometric data. In some ways, it's an inevitable consequence of the pandemic, more use of facial recognition technology in light of touch-free surfaces. Second tip is claims in relation to artificial intelligence use. Again, companies have in general had a lack of focus on their AI compliance programs, and that will be pulled up in the context of litigation. And thirdly, data monetization. Data is the new gold. All businesses are seeking to exploit it, but are they doing so in a way that's lawful and compliant with data regulation? Those are 3 issues which I think we will see more claims on in 2022. My key message is that all companies face data claim exposures, not just big tech. It's really easy, if you are skimming the news, to feel that data claims are only targeted at the big tech players. That's because there have been some really high-profile claims against Google, against Facebook, to give 2 examples. But whilst those cases are making the law around data claims, it's not right to assume that that's not a more widespread trend. All the issues I've talked about, such as AI-related issues, biometric data-related issues, or data monetization issues, can affect every company, big or small. And so if you're a board member, you need to have data claims and the potential risks well on your radar. My last prediction is that I think we're going to see more direct, standalone claims in the courts rather than data claims that follow on from regulatory investigations. Regulatory investigations obviously take time to complete, and regulators have to choose which investigations to pursue in line with their own policy objectives. I think we'll see data subjects and claimants taking matters into their own hands, initiating those claims in the courts, using the court processes to obtain documents and information, and relying on that process to obtain compensation.